I'll get into why I was more impressed by this win than the next win in a second, but just overall, bro, I don't know. There's a lot we can say.
Yeah, I mean, terrible Jamal Murray series so far. And then getting into game two, no Gobert in game two,
Right.
no problem
Yep.
whatsoever. Naz Reid, 4 blocks in the series already, only played 20 minutes in game one. It was crazy good contributor in game two on both sides of the court. Had a better offensive game one, but regardless. Um, we can have an Edwards conversation later. But I just thought game two, I disagree. Game two was more impressive to me. That was a manhandling of a team that is a defending champion that I've not seen in a very long time. You know, think about past defending champions, right? You got like the Warriors and like, obviously they lose to the Lakers. They got beat by the Kings pretty good at certain points, but like, and even further, the Raptors are a bad example because they lose Kawhi, obviously, after they win the chip. Lakers, even though they lost in their defending champ season, like, nothing crazy. This was an insane game because not only I don't think the Nuggets are even that bad. I think the Nuggets are the best team in the NBA going into this series, right? Like it's not even like our expectations are low. And game two, they get fully outplayed from start to finish. No point do the Nuggets even look in the game. They got a great Aaron Gordon first quarter. He has 15 points in the first quarter, if I remember correctly. They're down 10. And it's like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Defensively inspiring. The perimeter defense, some of the best perimeter defense I've seen in my life out of a team, frankly, top to bottom. And yeah, I just game two was a beautiful start to finish execution with your head coach who can't even stand up. So
The way that they were playing in game two was, to your point, like it was one of those times where I was sitting with a couple of my friends who like basketball but don't follow basketball. One actually happens to be a Nuggets fan, so he was down kind of bad. But they're not big basketball fans, and they were like, "This is not normal." Like what we're looking at, it was just clear the second they crossed half court. To your point, they looked inspirational. They were free flowing. Their offense and their defense, they looked like they were on a string. Their defense was their offense in a way. Like they were just playing so well that they had a fast break every
every
single
time.
possession.
Yeah. And it's
So
Edwards on fast break. What are you gonna do?
how are you going to stop them? And how are you going to stop them? The Nuggets out rebounded the Timberwolves 50-42. The Timberwolves out assisted the Nuggets 28-16. So the ball was moving. Anthony Edwards continues to look amazing. Again, I go back to the assists. 3 players on the Nuggets who had more than 6 assists. Jokic led the Nuggets with 8. Just man, it was pretty stifling, bro. I'm not gonna call the say that the Nuggets are done by any stretch of the thinking, but I don't really see the way that they're gonna do that right now.
I think it's done. I think the series is done. I don't see this Nuggets winning. I frankly,
Winning any games?
oh no, they'll win a game. They're too good not to win a game. But I don't see the route to them winning the series. They already shortened their bench. Murray's getting strapped. They clearly only have 2 shot creators at all. Like, and that's the thing with the Nuggets is you always knew they only had 2 shot creators. They were just so good that they could just keep creating.
Mm.
But if you take out one of them, now Jokic has a huge scoring burden, and I don't know. It's like it's not Jokic's fault he's shooting 40% from the field and 10% from three when the rest of the team literally can't even dribble the ball because the defense is just completely strapped them. I think that's a roster construction thing, but also I think that's a T-Wolves thing. That's how you beat the Nuggets, clearly. You put on a ton of size on Jokic, make it difficult for him to score because Jokic could put up 40. If this was a team that had this good perimeter defense, but had Draymond Green at center and like who's Trace Jackson Davis backing him up, Jokic would be scoring 40 a game. It'd still be tough for the Nuggets to win, but Jokic would still be putting that up. He can't do that against Nazarene, Towns, and Gobert. And if Jamal's not giving you anything, KCP can't create a shot. We saw KCP a few times trying to get creative, you know, and they have no one else. Reggie Jackson is not good right now.
Yeah, bro. I mean, it's something special, and this is not for lack of the Nuggets. This is the thing to your point. I don't think There was some uncharacteristic basketball going on, right? Like you get
Crazy turnovers.
16 turnovers
Yeah.
to the Wolves 12, so not great. But at the same time, the Wolves turnovers, you had the game away. But the Nuggets, yeah, some of it was self-inflicted, but for the most part, it felt like the Wolves imposing their will on the Nuggets. Something as a longtime Celtics fan is that for me, when I watch the Celtics play the Heat and respectfully the Warriors, it never felt like the Heat or the Warriors were overly imposing their will. They were just executing their game plan, and the
Mhm.
Celtics were withering. This feels like the Timberwolves imposing their will. And
100%.
the Nuggets are trying their best, and then they give up, of course. But just being played unbelievably right now.
Yeah, I mean, no, I think that's a great way to put it. Imposing your will is a great way to put it. And that's why, frankly, I don't really see the route for the Nuggets to win this series. Like, they just got spanked on their home court by 20. Their coach is trying to get ejected, actively trying to get ejected to try to rile the team up. Yeah, Jamal Murray throwing heating pads
Yeah,
on.
we didn't even talk about that, bro.
I
Like,
mean, I don't have too much analysis. Like, Murray shouldn't have thrown the heating pad. I don't want to see him suspended because honestly, they're
no,
not winning this. They're not winning the series if he gets suspended or not, in my opinion. So
I still think that they can win the series, but my analysis of him throwing I'm less interested in yes, of course it was dangerous, it was reckless, whatever. I don't care.
don't throw things at people's legs when they're playing basketball. Yeah.
It was the fact that he threw it.
I've never seen him be like that.
Like the what you have to be able to do to somebody who's that cool, calm, and collected that we've seen for the last 2 years, that we've known has been a playoff riser, that we know can be that guy, that number two guy on an NBA championship team, can even take over in a Kyrie to LeBron type of way. For him to lose his shit and throw that thing, I mean, clearly a completely impulsive act that is so driven by like the emotional dysregulation that you have, seeing a guy 5 years younger than you kicking your ass.
Mhm.
And then his friends, Nikhil Alexander Walker and Jaden McDaniels, also coming and just locking you the hell up. It was the fact that he threw it that struck me, not what he did. You know what I mean?
And same with Mike Malone freaking out in the way he
Yeah.
did. We have always known Mike Malone's a little bit of a hothead. We've seen it come out in like post game, even in arguments on the court. But like that was the full like I need to get it. That was a baseball move. That was I need to get ejected to rile my team up. And the refs didn't even give it to him. He should have 100% got ejected. Let's be real. Refs were like, nah, you're staying in, you're gonna watch, and we're gonna see what happens. We're not letting you take the narrative of this game. And it worked out. Like I'm not saying the refs like actively were thinking that. Like I don't think the refs were like, oh, like if we eject them, they're gonna rage at us after the game. I don't think that was actually going through their head. But situationally, it was fascinating to watch. It felt like, yeah, then this what you're saying is why I don't see the Nuggets coming back. You got Jamal Murray freaking out, throwing heating pads on his home court after 2 games.
I mean, it's crazy. I think that they're handling an adversity that they just haven't really faced in the last like in a while. Either because they were just playing teams where they were constantly ahead and you knew that they could outclose, or Murray was hurt a few years ago and there was just no pressure. The one thing I will say though is that like energy is so contagious. And for Anthony Edwards to be leading this team, I think has really been inspiring for all these guys on the Timberwolves. I mean, and you have Mike Conley, of course, who's just a steadying hand. But the way Cat's been able to buy in, the way Rudy Gobert is playing, the way Naz Reid's been playing, just so good. And I think if that's the one thing is with basketball, because it is such a team oriented sport and your ability to keep your shit in check is so coincided with your ability to execute effectively on the court. Nobody shoots better when they're feeling worse. So if they're able to get something going, something rolling, I think if they come out with a strong first quarter in game 3, I think that's the route to them seeing something. I don't know what they do if they come out flat for game 3. Then it feels like a wrap.
I just think the team will still have adjustments though. Like I don't. The Nuggets are coming to the end of their adjustments, which I don't know how many they have, given their pretty trimmed bench, and their bench guys also aren't shot creators like Christian Brown and Peyton Watson. The T-Wolves, right? Jaden McDaniels is arguably their second best player. I think he might be. I think he probably is.
You
Um,
think Jaden McDaniels is their second best player?
I think there's a strong argument to be made. I
You think
like
he's better
respect the
than that?
Towns. Respect the Towns.
Wow. And
But I think
Rudy.
the issue is that like Towns has shown a defensive level this year that I hadn't seen from him previously. And like
Well, we got to reward him for the way he's playing.
Of course, but I just think I'm going to reward Jaden McDaniels for probably being the best perimeter defender in the league right now. Like low key, like I don't know. Also think Jaden McDaniels can score very well, and he just hasn't had to. He's taken like the fifth, sixth most shots on this team so far. I mean, you heard Ant Edwards say it. They got KD, we got Jaden
We got
McDaniels.
Jaden McDaniels. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
like
guess who wasn't on the floor last season against
Jaden
the Nuggets?
McDaniels. And I think, frankly, he defensively is like I would have nightmares about him if I was in the league because somehow he can guard everyone. He also has like defensive credibility already this young, so he doesn't get called for like ticky-tack fouls, which I think is like an underrated aspect. Like
Right.
you raise your defensive credibility to the point where you don't just because you do bump someone. I'm not saying that's a great part of the game, but it is what it is, and I think he's a great. I think he's genuinely a great player. But yeah, he's the third best player. Let's be real about it. I think you could argue he's the second, but he has 5 points this series.
He has 5 points this series.
He's averaging 2.5 a game, actually.
And
So and he's got like the third most minutes in this series. So even if Conley starts going cold, even if the other guys start going cold, you still have a credible guy right here, Jaden McDaniels, who, you know, he can make a difference still. So I'm pretty excited, honestly. I could see Mini winning in 5. I'm gonna predict Mini in 6. Sorry, follow up. Jaden McDaniels shot 50% from the floor in the regular season and 34% from three. Like average like 11 points a game. I know it's not a ton, but yeah. Like again, he's averaging 2.5 this series.
this is tough. I think to all your points, like it's the Timberwolves are imposing their will, and they haven't even had to show a lot of their hand. And their 4-time depoy was missing, and I think I was more impressed by their game 1 win because we had no idea what was coming. Game 2, we still had no idea that this was coming.
No
but
Gobert.
I think no Gobert. The thing is, though, when you're able to start the success, you kind of can get on a roll with it a little bit. And
Like you
so,
get that belief.
right. And you especially when it's like one game, there was just a point where their defense was ridiculous and they couldn't get across half court for that like period in the second quarter where it went from like, whoa, this is like not that close of a game anymore to what the hell is happening? And I think the poise that they showed at the end of game 1 was very, very impressive to me in a way where it feels like any team can really get hot. Again, not discrediting the fact that this was probably one of the best defensive halves that I've ever seen in my entire life. But I think to be able to put the series out in the start, bro, we haven't even talked about Anthony Edwards yet. we haven't really talked about Ant. We haven't talked about Yoke. Like,
I mean, we talked a little bit about Yoke. I mean,
we need
Ant's
to talk
what,
about Yoke.
35 a game this series, 60% from the field, 38% from three, 77% from the free throw. And this is against a very good defense, and he's playing terrific defense. We're gonna need to revisit. The thing is, like, Ant is him, Wade, Kobe,
Yeah.
MJ. I don't. It doesn't feel too early to put those 4 guys in the same breath.
And I mean, just based off of the fact that I think 93% of all teams down 2-0 lose. We'll probably have that conversation next round. But real quick, thinking about Jokic, trying to think about how can the Nuggets come back from 2-0? Like, what is their path to come back?
What is the path? Well, Jamal Murray, first of all, can't play like this because he's your only other shot creator. So he cannot play like this, and he won't play like this. This is like a historically bad start in general and for him. So that's first thing. But you're gonna need to move away from a pick and roll game because the more you run this pick and roll, now you're activating help defenders. now you're asking Jokic to get the ball in the roll and throw it out to the corner to KCP, which the T-Wolves have shown a great ability to play backside defense, rotate, cover those shots. You're kind of gonna need to go a little bit more of the traditional one-on-ones, run the break a little bit more. I know you don't want to with Jokic, but and even just using Jokic in a more Sabonis like role, where he's gonna need to take the ball around rather than be a receiver and then distributing it. In my opinion, I think like basketball wise, that's how you're gonna beat a defense like this that can just swarm Jokic 24/7. So if Jokic catches the ball in the roll of the rim, you got either Naz, Gobert, or Towns waiting for him, and then you got Jaden McDaniels covering a backside cut or covering a backside throw out to the corner. Right? I don't know. I think you're gonna need Jokic to guide the ball a little bit more. And the thing
And
is,
then
if he's taking this many shots, you're probably screwed.
this is the reason why heliocentric basketball has not really worked out well for most teams that have tried it.
Yeah.
And again, even if we say Jokic is at the peak of his powers, the other guys need to show up. And Aaron Gordon's been shooting okay. And even Michael like played okay in that first game and they still lost. So I mean, this is, I think, the path forward is what you're describing, and then the Timberwolves letting go of the rope.
I agree. And I think even if the Nuggets do what I'm describing, if the T-Wolves stay the course, even if just the defense stays this good, it's gonna be tough. Frankly, even if just the defense stays good, because you know that stadium is gonna be jumping up
Oh my
2-0,
Lord.
up 2-0 in mini against the defending champs. They haven't had a second round series since KG. Are you
Crazy,
kidding me?
crazy.
Oh,
They're
did they make a second round series with Jimmy? No,
yeah,
they
yeah.
they
No,
made
no, no, no.
they made the
This is
playoffs.
their
They got first round. Yeah.
yeah.
So I don't know. That's what I think. To win the series, though, you're going to need either KCP or Aaron, or sorry, you're going to need MPJ or Aaron Gordon to. One of the two is going to have to score 20 each game, and then you know, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope is not going to be able to play 32 and a half minutes over the first two games on average and score 5 points. Like he's going to have to score more, even though you know that the T-Wolves view a KCP shot as a win because it's not a Jokic or a Jamal Murray shot, but he's still gonna have to score. He's gonna have to make those shots that he's missing, shooting 33% from three right now. So
bro, I'm excited. This is gonna. I mean, people gotta Friday night, right? Like people gotta watch this game.
I'm straight up like I'm not going out, baby. Kidding me?
Yes, sir. This
seeing
is
the
like
ball.
this. What's up,
I'm seeing the ball. I'm seeing the gala, aka the Ant Edwards coming out party.
bro? This feels like one of the most important games that wasn't a finals game in 5 years.
Uh,
Because if they go up 3-0, that's a wrap. And we all of a sudden have this complete different conversation away from Jokic is going to go back to now. Since 2019, no NBA champion has won more than once. And now Jokic can always come back, but the Thunder aren't going anywhere. The Timberwolves aren't going anywhere. Victor's only getting better. What's going to happen? So I don't know. I think this has a lot of potential.
few off the top of my head that compete is Game 7 last year, ECF, 2021 Bucks Nets semifinal.
Games, yeah, that was big. Yeah, that's true.
Those are Game 7s, but a non-Game 7 that is actually a really similar situation to this is kind of cracking me up is on the sorry, I have to talk about the Warriors. On the way to the Warriors trip, that Game 4, the Memphis Warriors, where Ja gets hurt in Game 4, yeah, he got hurt in Game 3, Game 4, whatever. But if the Grizz go up in that game, they went on to lose, and they were losing at the point where Ja got hurt. But if Ja stays in, leads them to a comeback, and they win that game, there's a good chance they win that series, and maybe the Grizz are NBA champs, frankly. But that's similar comparison. That's the sort of shit we're talking about. And also, the Nuggets are the defending champs, is not on the way to a chip, and the T-Wolves are substantially better than the Grizz were, or frankly will be in the imminent future. But yeah,
Just shocked. Speechless. It all makes sense right in front of us watching the Timberwolves play, but still did not see this coming.
And I can't. I want to highlight. Sorry, I just want to say shout out Naz Reid. He is amazing. He is like I.
Thanks.
He offensively, defensively. He's got a bat. He takes it off the dribble. He's doing reverse layups. What do you want, brother?
He's crazy.
I'm like,
I got
huh?
a quick question.
Yeah.
So I'm not. I had the Thunder not doing well this season, but the Timberwolves doing really well. I know you had the Thunder being really good this year, and I don't remember how you had the Timberwolves, but I don't know if it was good or not.
I had the play. I had them as a playing team. We literally had it flipped or whatever. Yeah.
Should we? Are we picking? Should we go with our guts here?
What do you?
Can I take the Timberwolves? You take the Thunder?
Hey, I
Can I
already
keep
said
rolling?
earlier in the pod. I already said earlier in the pod that I think the Thunder have got a really good shot against the T-Wolves. I think they match up really well
Bro. All right.
because
Well, we don't. We need
because we're
not.
talking about shot creators, dude. The Thunder got too many. The Thunder got
Oh, we need not get ahead, bro.
Dude, we're already counting out the defending champs. But I mean, honestly, from the first two games on Denver's home court, yeah, the Nuggets are going to need to prove something to me at this point, given the way those games went, despite them being defending champs.
Seeing the Warriors come back from down 3-1 when it didn't look how that was going to happen. Seeing the Lakers do the same thing to y'all. Seeing the Raptors do that to the Bucks. Seeing the Bucks do that to the Suns. Like, sorry. Seeing the Cavs do that to the Celtics in the 2017-2018 playoffs when we were up 2-0 and they had no answers.
Anything is possible, but the lack of shot creation on this Nuggets team, I think, is going to be really difficult to overcome.
It is. The way that this series is breaking down, it's different than two close games where you can see the recipe and it's just not there.
100%. And like, we're talking again, I keep harping on the shot creator thing. Even if you roll to the bench, like, is Julian Strawther gonna all of a sudden like give you 15 in a game? Like, probably not. Like, that's the thing
Yeah.
about the T-Wolves, could get randomly give you 15 in a game. Jaden McDaniels.
Who's averaging 2.5.
So like that's kind of my worry. Kyle Anderson also, like,
Oh,
I,
we haven't even talked about him.
I don't think he should have started last game, but he in his 18 minutes or it was more than that. It was like 20 something minutes. It was pretty good, and he's averaging 4 points a game in the series. So it's almost like I feel like the T-Wolves offensively feel like they have room for growth, which is like ridiculous. They only have 3 players scoring double figures. That's Naz, Townsend, and Ant. Yeah, I'm thoroughly impressed, and like frankly, I just see this getting like not it can't get worse than the last game for the Nuggets, but like I just don't really see the path back. Yeah, sorry Nuggets fans. That's my analysis.
Unbelievably impressive across the board. Just it's small market teams battling it out in the West. This weird injury plagued, very enticing series when the Celtics aren't involved going on in the East right now. This is a cool playoffs, man.